Hello everybody, and welcome to today's video. Today is the final grand old prediction for the governor's elections in the state of New Jersey and the Commonwealth of Virginia. These will be very, very fascinating elections that we are going to be going over. I guess we will first, right off the bat, start with the one in New Jersey. Now, why do I think this election is going to be very competitive? I can show you why. Now, you have the key competitive areas such as Bergen County, Passaic County, Morris County, Gloucester County, Cumberland County, and Atlantic County. Um, well, let's explain why. Let's start off with the counties like Gloucester. My thing's glitching. If Jack Ciattarelli is able to pull this election off, he will have to do so by running up Donald Trump's margins in areas that he has flipped. Now, New Jersey has shifted a lot towards the Republicans in recent years. You saw Donald Trump shifted by 10 points previously, and Jack Ciattarelli do a similar margin of shifting by around 10 points when he made Phil Murphy only win by around 3 points. Now, this election shouldn't be this close. Considering that it should be a Democrat-leading environment, I feel like the election should be a little bit more decisive, like a 7, 8, 9 point victory for the Democrats. So Democrats are running Representative Mikey Sherrill, and Republicans are running Jack Ciattarelli. Mikey Sherrill was in the military. She's a congresswoman for a competitive area of the state. And Jack Ciattarelli was a former assemblyman from also the northern part of the state. Now, how do I think this election is going to go? It's going to be very interesting. I think Mikey Sherrill should be able to win. However, it's going to be a lot more closer. I think it's going to be right down to the wire. Now, I'm actually just, I'll get it out of the way. I'm probably going to get a lot of pushback for this, but I'm predicting that Jack Ciattarelli will have a narrow victory. And I can walk you through that. I think that he'll have some really good performances in the south part of the state, like Atlantic County and Cumberland County. These areas have shifted Republican. A lot of working class, blue collared voters. I think he'll do well in Gloucester County. He did even better here than Trump did in 2021. And if Mikey Sherrill does win, which he should be able to, he should probably make these blue areas bigger and these red areas smaller. But since Jack Ciattarelli has a good chance of winning, he'll make the margins of these blue areas smaller and then these red areas bigger. Now, I think that Jack Ciattarelli would probably get some good turnout in Ocean County, Monmouth County, and Sussex County to an extent. That's a little more rural, but very Republican. That's where Republicans and Democrats fight to get their votes, is to reduce the margin in each party's strongholds. I think that I found it very interesting that Jack Ciattarelli still could win despite early voting showing a Democratic electorate. Now, that doesn't show everything because polls have shown that Jack Ciattarelli is leading with independents, just like he did in 2021. They underestimated his support by about 5 points. And they only show Mikey Sherrill ahead by 3. And she's not really cracking 50% of the vote in every single poll. And that's how you know when they're going to win. You see that when she does crack 50% of the vote, Jack Ciattarelli is right behind her. You could tell that it's close. So if you apply the underestimating of Jack Ciattarelli by 5 points, and you apply that to here, he would be ahead by approximately 2. Now, I don't think Jack Ciattarelli is going to win by 2. I just don't see it happening. However, at least something to be desired is that the polls, usually when they underestimate somebody the first time, they underestimate them the second time. I explained a little bit more about this in the video tailored to this election. So you also have to take into account that a lot of these Democrats, I'm not trying to be biased, but could be voting for Jack Ciattarelli because he's gotten endorsements from union groups and I believe 15 Democrats from pretty liberal areas. You could tell that Legislators, mayors, Democratic mayors, I think up to 15 of them have endorsed Jack Ciattarelli from like some pretty liberal areas. So that leaves something to be desired. I think Mikey Sherrill will get her base turnout, and Jack Ciattarelli should be able to get his base turnout. Again, I really see either party winning this. But we'll just say that Jack Ciattarelli, in this case, does manage to win. He would do well in places like Morris County. It's sort of trending Democrat. It's definitely a swingy area. A lot of suburban people live there. A lot of swing voters. I think Jack Ciattarelli should do well. He won that by 10 points back in 2021, and Donald Trump only won it by around 2 or 3. So the margins are going to be a really big telling story. You got Passaic County, which Donald Trump was able to flip back by around 3 points after losing it to Joe Biden by like around 15 to 20 points. So a lot of shifts, a lot of minority voters here. So I think if Jack Ciattarelli wants any chance of winning, he needs to win Passaic County. That's now becoming a swing area. I'd say the election comes down to Bergen County, which is the most populated county in New Jersey. I will say that Mikey Sherrill wins the election. She'll do pretty well here. If Jack Ciattarelli wins, I think he'll narrowly win the county of Bergen. I think he'll just scoop into a lot of votes here. Again, I'm really not confident about this election in New Jersey, but I'm predicting a narrow Jack Ciattarelli victory. Moving over to the Old Dominion, the Commonwealth of Virginia, we have former representative and CIA worker Abigail Spanberger running, and former Marine veteran and current Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl-Sears is being ran for the Republicans. This is the second governor's race. As you can tell, you have some swing areas. Like I explained in the video earlier, I think that the Democrat Abigail Spanberger should be favored to win this election. I just see that happening because Virginia, since 1972, with the exception of 2013, has elected a governor the opposite party of the president. And just like in 2021, Democrat Joe Biden was in the White House, Republican Glenn Youngkin won. In 2017, Republican Donald Trump was in the White House, and Democrat Ralph Northam won. And now, since Donald Trump is back in the White House, Virginia is it's the backyard of the capital of where Donald Trump is. So I think just because of historical trends and because of what typically happens, I think that Abigail Spanberger will win this election. She'll probably win a lot of competitive areas, like, let me show you, places like Montgomery County. She'll probably win there. Probably win places like Radford. I think she'll win James City, and she'll do pretty well in the Hampton Roads. Hampton Roads is where both parties, Republicans and Democrats, look to when they win the state. They want to do well here. They want to win these areas, suburban swing voters. I think Abigail Spanberger will win these. It will be interesting to see what margins they are. I think it's possible Winsome Earl-Sears wins, but I just don't see it happening. I think that she'll win places like Hopewell, and that she'll win Chesterfield County. It's trending pretty sharply towards the left, so it'll be interesting to see what margins there are. It doesn't typically vote Democrat at the governor level, but it has sometimes. So I think that Abigail Spanberger will win. I think Winsome Earl-Sears will have more of a moral victory, if you would call it, because she would still win some swing areas like Stafford County and Prince Edward. But that is my prediction for the Virginia governor's election. This is about it. This is my prediction. You can tell here, I have Jack Ciattarelli winning by around 0.79%, which is a Republican flip, and Democrat Abigail Spanberger winning just shy of 8 points at 7.97%, which is a Democratic flip. This is a GOP flip up there. Democrat flip here. I'm more confident about this election just because of what the polls show. They do show Spanberger winning, sometimes up to 10%. I just don't think Virginia is a blue enough state for that. So that's just how I see it going. But that is my prediction for these two elections. So I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Join if you like to support the channel. and I'll see you in the next video.